So it's another Mechanic Monday. Today I'm doing some important work at the engine bay of my VW T-Team bay van. Basically, I was driving on the highway in the last 5 kilometers or so. White smoke started coming out of the vents. As you know, it is an air-cooled engine, and what happened was the alternator belt went loose and some friction was happening, and of course it was just draining my battery and it overheated a little bit. Luckily, nothing happened. I just pulled over on the side of the road, opened it up like this, and waited for the engine to kind of cool down a little bit. So today I ordered some replacement parts and gonna replace the belt on it and fix some things up here and there. So let's get to it. So one of the first things we're going to want to do is clean out the engine bay. You can do that with a vacuum cleaner, with a leaf blower, or with an air pressure system like this. And this should be enough to kind of get some of the dust and things out the way.
It's really loud in the garage, so I'm going to use some background reducing software. So if my voice sounds a bit off and a little bit distorted, that's why.
Okay, so this is what the engine is looking like. Not in the terrible condition, but definitely could be a lot better. Obviously, it needs a wash. There's a few things that are a little bit worrying here. I can tell that this is a bit loose, and this basically keeps the cool air that's coming in the engine bay and not leaking below the car. So that already is quite loose, as you can see in there. So gonna have to fix that off. And also this pulley, this is where the belt's supposed to go. And this pulley is way too loose. So we're gonna fix that. Yeah, it definitely needs replacing. We can tell it's even bent a little bit out of shape. Any other problems that appear to you and that I'm missing, let me know. But so far, I think replacing this pulley and the belt and fixing this issue and giving this engine a good clean is what it needs. So we're gonna get to it. So the way I've kind of positioned this here is to have this lock at 12 o'clock. And this should stop the pulley attached to the alternator from turning as we turn this the other way. It's been a bit of a tough job, to be honest. This is the replacement pulley that's gonna go on here. Should be nice. All right, so we finally got this guy off. This took a long time to get out. For some reason, my lock here, because this is a little bit bent, it wouldn't get out. It's really important when you take these out to remember the order that they're in. Should be a little shim here before the washer. So let's keep those aside because you're gonna have to put it back the same way. I also got myself some shims as well to keep the space between those, so when we put the new belt on the pulley, it's at the right tension. So now we are taking away these shims. Remember the order of things here. It's good to kind of line them up this way. Here's another shim. Yeah, you can tell how old this piece is. So, oh, and yeah, you look at that. That is definitely a problem. That's not meant to look like that. So putting this pulley system is something that I thought would take like 10 minutes, and it's taken me a couple hours because it's just so hard to get the piece out. It's really lodged in there, and I'll show you what the problem is now. It's got a very specific shape to it. It's flat on the bottom here and it curves on the top. The issue is this piece is not lining up with the way that this bolt is supposed to be. You can see it's really sort of been eroded over time. It's lost its shape. It's just become a big circle instead of the shape of the gear. It's supposed to easily slide out, but it's not getting out in any way. No matter how I twist or turn, it's not coming out. And look at the edges in there. I tried putting a little bit of WD-40, and we shouldn't really put it around the pulley where the belt is, but I put some in there to see if it can lubricate it a little bit, make it easier to come out, but it's really stuck in there.
So I finally got this piece out. I literally had to pull it out with 2 hands.
Look and how bad of shape they were. This was just, it's meant to take the shape of this, but it's a circle. I'm not sure if the previous owner has a correct piece or if it's just kind of eroded over time. But the piece is finally out. This was kind of hard to yank out as well. This is the difference between the old and the new. This is the new chrome one that I got in the mail, and of course the old one. I mean, even in the area where you're supposed to have the screwdriver in, look how bent that is on both sides. Yeah, much needed replacements. I'm gonna keep these. These are quite good. The old shims, I'm not really gonna use them, although they're a little bit fine. Some of them are a little worn out in the middle. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of raised ridges there. So I bought a bunch of new shims. Those are gonna go in between. Might grease them up a little bit on the inside. This is the old belt. Doesn't look too bad from far, but when you look in closer, you see those little cracks and things. Yeah, better off replacing it. And it had some tension on the belt. You could really see these little cracks and things pop out. But I figured it's been a while since this has been replaced. It's not in the worst of conditions, but it was twisting and turning as well. So I feel like the tension wasn't quite right. So might as well replace the V-belt. This is something you always want to have on because, of course, once this is loose off your pulley, your engine's going to overheat really, really quickly. All right, so that took a lot of time, but I finally got everything in place and it's time to assemble it all together. The first thing I did was wrap the V-belt around the main pulley at the bottom, and I had to make sure that that was done correctly and neatly because it's hard to see it from down there. So that allows me to set the pulley in place, and right now obviously the belt is not tight. It's hasn't been bolted on and tightened, so the shims that I got, the new shims, they're a little bit greased, which is perfect. And depending on the vehicle, it might need 1 or 2 or 3 shims. So what the shims are designed to do is to create that space to give you the right tension. And that tension I'll be able to feel at the end. It needs about 2 or 3 centimeters in give once the shims and the washers and the final bolt is on tight. So I kept tightening it here and checking up on it every now and then to make sure the tension was still there. As you can see, it was still a bit loose, so I had needed a lot more tightening than that. Luckily, the pulley stayed in place. I didn't have to lock it in with a screwdriver like I did when I was removing it, so that was quite nice. Depending on the vehicle, you might need to do that. And then once you're happy with the tension, it should be good to go. So that is a good kind of tension that you want on your belt. It's on there quite tight.
And that's it for today's video. I hope that you found this helpful in some way, or you just enjoyed watching me change the pulley and fixing the V-belt on my VW van. That was another Mechanic Monday, I'm going to call this series. I always find something new that needs to be fixed or changed, so there's going to be a lot more of these coming up. If you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you in the next one. Welcome to the